Nobody's listening, right? Hi, Andy.
Hello.
I am so thrilled to chat with you, as though no one were listening. But dying to know, though, if is anyone out there listening?
Yeah, this one kind of warmed my heart.
Aw.
Comment on YouTube.
Oh.
And they just had like a crazy username, so I don't know what their name is. But it says, listener since 2014-ish.
Wow.
Glad to see it's back. Did not know until I inadvertently stumbled upon this.
Wow.
I really like the YouTube component to this podcast with the visuals, and also love the idea of framing the Beanie Baby picture, which is something we talked about last week.
Yes. Oh, I love that. And I'm so glad you found us on YouTube. I don't see us on YouTube really because I don't use YouTube all that much. But I did want to say if anyone wants to join us over there, today I'm wearing a very cleavage forward shirt, I just realized.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
Look at that.
That's fun. That's fun. Yeah, come over to YouTube. We're trying to build that up. And I love that, like, our little faces popped up on their YouTube, I'm assuming. And they were like, oh, shit, those guys.
And I bet they were like, she hasn't aged a day.
Or they were like, they're still at this?
Well, I had a general meeting the other day with a wonderful company. Please hire me. I'm just kidding. Actually, it would be more like developing together. But anyway.
Please hire her.
But the gent of the in this meeting.
Okay.
There was a gent and a lady.
Yeah.
He was like, "Are you still involved in podcasting in any way, shape, or form?"
Oh,
and I was
yeah.
like, "We can't stay away."
Yeah.
But I love it.
Yeah.
It's such a fun thing. And I know I'm a broken record. I look forward to this with you so much. And I think that it has reset our relationship so many times in a wonderful way. Not that like we were in a bad place, but
We were in a bad place, so.
I can't think of a time, though, that we podcasted. Maybe there's been one or two over the years where I left in a worse mood.
Oh, those happen from time to time, yeah, but very rare.
Very rare. And oftentimes, I mean, it's like forced connection, which is great because
you need
sometimes
to force it.
sometimes you get like lost in life and we're like, you know, what are we doing? We got to get this done. I got to work. I got to pay bills. I got to go grocery shopping. Got to whatever.
Sit down and chat for a minute.
Sit down. Put your goddamn phone to the side.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I do have my computer open in front of me.
You know what's crazy? There was another comment that I will do a summary of that speaks to exactly what you're saying. On a past episode, I don't know, not too long ago, we were kind of talking about this similar sentiment. And you had even said, like, I think any couple that had a podcast, it would be good for the couple. The person was listening to that episode and then walked up to one of the like little libraries, like we have them in our neighborhood. They're all around. Opened up one of those and there was a book that said, "So You Want to Start a Podcast" was the title of the book. And they were like, this is the sim.
I have chills.
Yeah.
I hope to God they're starting one. I mean, the universe is screaming at them.
I think in their comment they said they weren't going to.
Oh, okay.
But in like a nice...
You know what, though? They might. They might.
And now they're hearing this potentially as their...
Start that podcast. What are you passionate about? I think that it's fun to start a podcast about something you're passionate about. For example, you had Totally Beverages with our wonderful Josh Briggs. Jojo. But I also think for couples, they should start a podcast and you don't even have to put it out. It's like a time capsule.
And then it's so handy. And we can attest to this to bring into couples therapy so the therapist can just hear the arguments, hear everything, and really get a context for what's going on in the relationship.
Yeah.
It's the cliff notes for the therapist. They don't have to guess
We're
as much.
We're joking.
Because you're so charming with the couples therapist. They need to know the real you.
When I saw we haven't been in couples therapy in quite a while, which is a testament, I think, to how good our therapist is. When I saw her... Don't you think? When I saw her recently at a coffee shop and I said hi, I want to think I did, but I don't remember if I did. I told you about our interaction.
I think so, yeah. I know you saw her.
Did she say, so how are you? And did I say, things didn't work out with Andy?
You made that joke? No, I don't think so.
Oh, I wish I had.
That'd be a really funny joke.
That would be so funny.
It's kind of, is it mean to her?
Kind of. I think she could handle it.
But that's saying that all couples therapists want to keep the couples together. Mm-hmm. That's not true, we know.
That is not true.
But maybe we would like to assume that she wants to keep us together.
She or he finds one of them very attractive.
That's definitely happened. That has definitely happened, and that's fucked up. If you're a couples therapist and then you start sleeping with one of your clients, I don't even care what the window is. You're living life
on the edge. You're driving at 100 miles per hour.
It's unethical.
It is very, I think we can all agree on that.
Like, you tell any of your colleagues that, don't you think all your colleagues would be like, did you hear
How important is it to be ethical?
In therapy?
In life.
In life?
Yeah. It's very important. I think, well, that's a great question. That's a philosophical question.
That is. It leads me to something. Before we lead there, though, I want to shout out our Patreon.
Yes.
Now's a good time to go check it out.
Why?
Patreon.com/NLR. Because now's the time.
It is a good time. Our last episode was very fun. We do a bonus episode every month.
Yep.
Now is the time. You're right. We have some stuff coming up that you're going to want to be there for.
Yeah.
So that's patreon.com/nobody's listening right. Going back to this question of ethics.
Yeah, and I want to segue. There's something I want to speak to about religion, too. So maybe they keep that in the back of your mind of them segueing together, because I feel like it could really segue nicely.
Well, I don't need the pressure of setting up a perfect segue.
Okay.
Can we aside real fast? This is so mean-spirited. But just the irony that the man who created Segways, the vehicle, died when his Segway went off a cliff.
I think we've talked about this
before. Is that irony?
It is, but it's not as good of an example as you think it is.
Why?
Because it's like...
I know it's tragic, and I am...
Do you think anything I just said is inferring it's not tragic?
No.
Okay, it just seemed like that was a response to something to me.
No.
Maybe I'm being defensive. Okay.
Well, yeah.
Yes, it is tragic. Like, if that wasn't a response to me, I don't even know why you even said that.
Well, I just want to establish as we speak.
Yes, it's tragic, but it's ironic.
Yes, I don't want to speak so flippantly about something. That's why I said it's mean-spirited. Like, to objectify a tragedy in a way like that's couching it as a great example of irony.
I think it is definitely an example of irony. But also, if you look at the facts, I don't know if I would put it on the Mount Rushmore of examples. But maybe, this is really tricky.
Mount Rushmore you're using? Didn't he go off a cliff?
Wow. Nailed it.
Okay.
You don't have to laugh, though. So, because it would be like saying the person that invented...
Airplanes died in an airplane crash.
Yeah, like any sort of moving vehicle where there's a potential for danger.
Yeah, but I don't know if airplanes had the same... je ne sais quoi, like kind of stink on it around what Segway, Segways were mocked and like how ridiculous they were and how obnoxious they were. And then for that to be, the situation, it's not good.
I agree with everything you just said. A better example, though, would be like if the Snuggie, the person that invented the Snuggie,
suffocated in a Snuggie. I don't know.
I don't even know if I want to say that. I would just say died somehow from the Snuggie. You know what I mean? Because you would never expect anyone to die from a Snuggie.
I was assuming it's a him, but he was doing some sort of erotic asphyxiation with a Snuggie where he was alone masturbating. And he needed the Snuggie wrapped around him so tight. And he slipped. And one thing led to another. Now he died doing what he loved.
Will you just see? Fuck. This is so dark. But you giving that example makes it less ironic to me for some reason. Like that to me, he just needs to die snuggieing. Like you don't have to add the kink to it.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Will you
Ethics.
see if it was a man or a woman?
Who invented the Snuggie?
Mm-hmm. Is he still with us?
Yeah. He looks like he enjoys a Snuggie session every once in a while. Okay.
Snuggie sesh. We love you, Scott.
Okay, that's so dumb.
Okay. So, this was an aside. You want to get back, or can I go on the religious thing?
Well, yeah, I guess I didn't have much to say about the ethics thing. Just, it's very interesting. You know, last week we were talking about zooming out. Again, I'm going to bring Love Island into this. Watching Love Island as a anthropomorphic study of human beings.
Anthropological.
Oh yeah.
I think that's like a camera lens, anthropomorphic. I might be wrong.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Through an anthropomorphic camera. No, I need to know what it's. I thought it was like attributing human oh yeah, it's the attribution of human traits, emotions, or intentions to non-human entities. So it's kind of like personification.
I don't know what any of this means, but sure.
It's very interesting, and this is tied to couples therapy. I think it's important to have...
You got an intensity right now.
I do.
Yeah, it's good.
This is serious. You and I had gone a long time without any real conflict.
Okay.
And I think I was hormonal and also annoyed with something, and we kind of got into it. I don't know. This was several weeks ago. I don't even remember when it was. Do you?
No, I don't even remember the specific time you're talking about.
Okay, so there was a conflict, I think, within the last month and a half between us.
We get it. Okay, it was sometime recently.
That felt like a little, more than just the daily, a day-to-day type thing, which we don't really even have that very on, not day-to-day. Can we just edit all of this? What I'm trying to say is I think we got a little rusty. We hadn't had any real conflict in a while. And I think it's important for couples to have some conflict every once in a while. Now, I'm not saying you should create it, but it was a reminder of, I feel like I had backslid a bit in my ability to to deal with conflict.
I don't understand the intensity in your voice. Hold on. I want you to try this as a couples therapist. Sometimes
that's what I'm doing.
Sometimes we forget what it is to do and we can become rusty. Do it in a gentle couples therapy. You're bringing this intensity to it.
Okay.
I want to feel.
Should I do ASMR?
No.
Okay.
You want to go to the exact opposite extreme.
Sometimes.
No. Pretend.
Okay.
You're a couples therapist.
Okay. It sounds to me like you both have gotten a little rusty in how you're dealing with conflict.
Oh.
Which is a good sign. It means that you're doing very well and haven't encountered conflict in a while.
This is a great way to set up whatever you're about to say. I'm sorry that I'm coming out right now. But great. This is great. Now I'll get back into my character. But this is really good.
And it sounds like through this conflict, you found your footing again in how to deal with each other respectfully, how to not demean each other's opinions if they don't match what yours are, how to mirror the feelings that the other person is having and make it clear that you understand what they are saying, even if you don't agree with it.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm out now, Andy. I think I did a great job there. So
You did.
What I'm saying is...
I wouldn't have said find your footing. I would have used different words because we were dealing with a foot fetish incident. But besides that, A+.
Okay. So, Anywho, I think we had gotten a little rusty, and it took that conflict. By the end of it, I felt like I had remembered some of the tools that we were given in couples therapy.
Oh, nice.
And we got through it.
Yeah.
And that is to say, watching Love Island, it is so fascinating. Watching some people there who, like, their behavior is so shocking. And I would say unethical in some cases.
For sure.
One in partics.
Yeah.
Where there seemed to be no... It's the same thing we were talking about last week. I can't let go of it. This fucking guy, Aaron.
No.
Yes.
You're going to throw him under the bus?
Oh, yes. And his darling, sweet girlfriend, Kaylor, who he's been with since the moment he landed in Love Island. They're like falling in love with each other. He's well aware of that. He goes off to Casa Amor, which is this house where they bring all these, hot gals to like test the guys, basically. Every guy, every season. This is where I'm embarrassed for men.
Yeah.
Just drops the thought of the person, and they justify their actions by going like, well, I need to be tested. I really need to explore this to see if the other thing really matters to me, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're just seeing the sexual creature in front of you and not, you just want to fuck this person, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And so Aaron is like hooking up with this gorgeous girl, and I mean, flirting with her and being as though they are a married couple and like falling in love on their honeymoon or something. It was so, if he didn't have Kaylor at home bawling her eyes out, it would be so adorable.
But it was instead very disrespectful.
Very disrespectful. He even was doing things with this new girl that he did with Kaylor. Like, he made up a handshake with her.
Brutal.
He asked her to go shower with him, which was like a thing he had with Kaylor. So anyway, really bad. And he didn't have... Now, there were other guys also behaving naughty. This guy did not have any remorse or feel any guilt and kept saying over and over, I've done nothing wrong. And then he comes back. He's broken Kaylor's heart. And this is why I think he doesn't know how to handle conflict in a mature and responsible way, is because his tactics work. He comes back and he gaslights Kaylor. He makes her feel like she's crazy for being upset about this.
Yeah.
He's saying to his guy friends, like, I have nothing to feel bad about. And they're like validating it. When the topic comes up, he just starts yelling at Kaylor.
Yeah.
And guess what? She takes him back.
Yeah. And we didn't
I
want
was
to see
so
that.
upset. I was so upset. And so his unethical and I would say very weak muscle in dealing with real conflict in a romantic relationship are just being validated.
Well, yeah, nice guys finish last. That's a different thing, sort of. I mean, but like really unnice pieces of shit finish first. We see that
A lot of times.
with a lot of the, we think of the big leaders in our
CEOs,
world.
corporate,
Yeah. Just kind of
what a gift.
no ethics.
What a gift, though. I think that, so here's my question. We're zooming out.
Okay.
I think we can all agree it's better to have ethical people in your life because they treat you with like respect. They care about feelings and stuff.
Yeah.
But what a gift to really not care that much about other people's feelings in some ways, because you see it time and again. And this is a spectrum. Obviously, there are on one end, like real sociopaths who have no empathy or whatever it is. But I think that there are people in the gray area who lean more towards they just do what they want and they don't give a fuck and it doesn't matter. And they succeed because that doesn't hinder them, the needing to account for other people's feelings.
Yeah.
There are also people, like I know people that in my industry who lie their fucking asses off to get ahead.
Yeah.
And they get away with it. I do think it eventually catches up to them.
Yeah, it can, for sure.
But, people who literally make up huge parts of their life so that they can get a job, like, oh yeah, they were a neurosurgeon before so that they can get a job working on a show, a medical procedural about neurosurgeons or whatever it is. Then there's people like you and me who I think care maybe too much sometimes about like what other people think. And that's also not you as much as me, but...
Can I interrupt for a second?
Yeah.
I almost think you might be talking about two different things. I think caring what people think about you is way different than having no regard for how you're treating people because you don't care.
You're absolutely
and how it might
right.
affect with them.
You are absolutely right.
I think having the character trait of not caring what people think about you can be very empowering, and you can also be completely very respectful to all those people.
100%. And the flip is true very often, I think, with narcissists, where they don't really care about how they're making you feel, but they very much care about how people perceive them.
Sure. Yeah.
So you make a fantastic point. Anyway, where was I going with all of this? Ethics. Oh, who's to say whose brain is better? When you're talking about ethics, we all come into this world. Our brains are wired a certain way. We have.
What do you mean better, though?
Nature versus nurture. Or not better, but so I think you and I, for example, would say, okay, what's an example? Like the way someone thinks, I think that someone who thinks, for example, that you are going to hell and you're a like nothing more than a piece of dirt.
God,
if you don't
setting up the Segway so good.
I know.
Right now.
I'm trying.
Wow.
I'm sweating.
Oh my God.
If you don't think that Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior, I think poorly of that person's ethics, even though they might think they're way more ethical than anyone else.
Oh, I see what you mean.
But who's to say? I'm now zooming way out.
Way out.
Like
belief systems,
how they come to be. You're born into them, the way your brain is wired, the way you're raised. At the end of the day, we're all just kind of vessels for, I think, God or the universe, whatever you want to call it, to express themselves in this specific way in this specific moment of time.
Sure.
So this is a plea to myself more than anything to stop judging other people, because if it's so easy to judge someone if I think they're not ethical. Watching this Love Island, I'm like, Aaron's a piece of fucking
I see
shit.
What you mean. Yeah.
But the truth is, if I look at Aaron, I'm like, he's just a human being, like we all are, who was born into a very good-looking body, who has had certain life experiences set up for him, who hasn't had the experience, it doesn't seem, of having real consequences to some of these types of actions. Mm-hmm. This is how he gets through things.
Yeah.
So who am I to judge him? Because that's all he knows.
Yeah, but I think a lot of what you're saying, super valid, true, but there still must be a line, right? Because let's say you meet a character in your life that you come to find out their thing that drives them in life is to cut off the pinky finger of as many people as they come across in their lives. And they've been sneaky their whole lives, and they're doing this dark thing where they're cutting off
really
pinkies.
Mean.
And it's fucked up. But they do this for, I can't even think of the reason, but in their life.
I think we all know the reason.
Do tell.
He likes to have a pinky party. And he lines up all the pinkies and he Sharpie draws little faces on them. And he crochets tiny little hats and tuxedos.
Okay,
if it's a black
exactly
tie
that.
event.
It's exactly, yes, okay. It's exactly that. I don't know how that must have happened to him, because maybe his great-grandfather used to do that and he saw it one day and was like, I want to do that. Whatever. We're getting off the rails here. That's fucked up. But I do think, I don't like that guy.
Sure.
I do think my brain, I'm valuing my brain over that guy's brain if we're talking about brains.
That's the human survival thing, though. We get to choose who we surround ourselves with and what our boundaries are. And there are those, I think, frequently women, and also because men are usually the perps, who are desperate to be in a marriage or relationship with serial killers in prison, and are writing to them and are trying to feel like I'm the one person who embraces you. There are people out there who are drawn to danger and chaos that.
Yeah.
But I think by and large, our human instinct in terms of survival and keeping our family safe and stuff like that is to stay away from Pinky Pete, you know.
But Pinky Penny, as she's now called, who married Pinky Pete because she fell in love with him through pen pal letters, right? Pinky pen pal letters. You can understand her and you're like, oh, you know, for this reason, she has this like savior complex. She thinks she can save this guy. She's attracted to this because she went through this thing. She already has no
fingers. It's
right, exactly. Yeah. Or she has 6 fingers.
1 to spare.
Right. So you're like, I have empathy for Pinky Penny. You understand it.
Yeah.
But do you have empathy for Pinky Pete?
No.
So maybe that's kind of the line.
Yeah, I guess that's it. It's more like, this is hard because I think this whole philosophical exercise depends on, in my mind, a like greater being, whether it's the universe or God, looking upon humanity and going like, in my mind, I like to think that this greater being is going like, that one's better than this one. And this one's in terms of like ethics and kindness and love.
Oh, sure.
And I'm kind of saying, but it also feels like we're all just kind of in a petri dish.
Right. I see what you mean. Yeah.
And we get what we get and we develop how we develop.
Well,
this isn't, I'm not trying to justify horrors against other people or anything.
But it's sometimes, and you've had a similar sentiment we've talked about before, I think, where it's tied to your like, what is the point of this?
Yes.
If there is all this bad stuff happening, I think you have this big question mark that's almost, does it matter what we do?
Exactly. I think you're getting to the heart of it.
I think it does.
I do too. I'm doing this exercise just as a thought exercise.
Yeah,
Does it matter?
Yeah.
And I know that there are people out there who probably think, no, it doesn't really matter. Interestingly enough, I think a lot of public people who are awful have been these religious leaders, you know, Catholics, Christians, you know, the like huge mega church guys that we find out were molesting children, Catholic priests.
Yeah. Where
I'm like, do they genuinely believe in the hell kind of narrative? And are they...
Right.
What's that about? But right now, my belief is it does matter. And that we're all here to evolve towards love and towards not being part of that. And I think something for me to work on is not being so judgmental.
That's a big theme with you lately.
Yeah, because I think it brings me more peace also. If I don't get all like outraged when I hear about, you know, people who want there to be no gun control. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
I have to respect that they have had a different experience to get them to that place.
Yeah, totally.
But anyway, I think though that the souls who are really bad guys, let's take for example,
Pinky Pete.
Mussolini, Pinky Pete.
What did Mussolini do?
A lot of bad things.
Name one. I'm serious. Name one.
The Italian Biscotti embargo incident.
Wow. I think that might be sort of offensive.
I'm sure it is.
And disrespectful.
Sure it is. I mean, I think he's a horrible human.
Is he? What did he do?
I think he was like a murderous dictator.
Okay.
I think that someone like that doesn't carry on. They just kind of evaporate. Their soul is not evolved enough to continue in the universe, to join the ocean that it's going back to. That soul is so rotten that it just kind of is gone. Oh. The body, so in that case, the body does go back to dirt.
The body always goes back to dirt.
And the soul, though, is not like getting swept back into the greater consciousness.
Got it.
Okay, so you wanted to talk.
Yeah, I'll keep this quick.
I'm so sorry. You know what? Don't keep it quick on my account. I feel like I don't mean to take up. So go ahead.
No. Well, I was just thinking about this. Dawned on me in the car drive the other day. I was coming back from the cabin by myself, just pondering life. And this maybe this has hit me before, but I don't think it ever has. I spend a lot of time bashing religion, I think. I feel like I'm pretty unfair about a lot of religious stuff. I don't like it much. And I think lately I've been able to articulate it more of like, I don't like any organization that profits off of the guilt, making other people feel guilty.
Guilt, fear,
all of these type of things, and it's also making money. I don't think if there is a bigger God, that God's into any of that stuff. I don't think he likes it. That being said, it dawned on me that religions pop up in different shapes and forms over history for some more practical reasons.
Oh, yeah.
That I'm like, this was so smart. And I was thinking about contraception. And you know what?
Wow.
You know, we don't have condoms and all this stuff when the Catholic Church is getting going.
Sheepskins?
What we have, but see when like the first sheepskin condoms were, not mass produced, but like when were people using
Mass produced?
Well, you can still buy sheepskin condoms.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
When was the first condom? The first, oh, well, we're not talking about rubber condoms.
We're not talking about real condoms. I don't know enough about contraception over history, right? But let's just say our knowledge of it now is way better than it's ever been. And we have much better tools, right? Mm-hmm. Back in the day, though, there was a need to make people not be having probably as many babies as they were.
Yeah.
There was a need to influence some sort of birth plan on people. So how are you going to do that, right?
Mm-hmm. 15th century.
15th century. Okay. So, but it makes sense that a religion was like, okay, we got to convince people to stop fucking so much because like we don't have as many resources in this town for these people or all these things. We got to come up with a story. So in that regards, I like the hack that like, let's say the Catholic Church has of you're going to go to hell if you're not married.
I don't know though I don't, neither of us know enough about like the Bible, like the birth of the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know that your
I'm starting to
theory
think maybe
and your
that's
timeline is going to match up.
Damn, I need to do more research because I think maybe it's super plausible.
Andy, I love seeing you making like a timeline of when did the Catholic Church begin? When was the Bible readily available to people? When?
Okay, well, let's take it easier. You shouldn't kill people, right? Thou shalt not kill. And I feel like probably in many religions over history has some sort of like, that ain't cool, right? Don't kill people. Mm-hmm. But you need a reason, right?
Yeah.
Kind of what you're saying. If there is no reason...
Then how come?
Right? But people realize in these villages, like, this sucks if people are killing or our village keeps getting killed and whatnot and wars and all this stuff. We got to figure out a way to stop so much of this killing. You got to come up with a good story. Maybe?
Yeah, but I think it goes deeper than that. I mean, it's not like someone was like, I think over time, for example, Scientology, yes, someone literally, a writer of sci-fi stories, came up with a story to create this whole thing.
Okay.
So yes, that's true in that case. But in terms of like the Catholic religion or Muslim religion, I feel like it probably stems from tribalism and like us needing to group together.
Yeah.
And I mean, to this day, I think religion is dying by and large.
Because we have better contraception.
No, it's not all about contraception.
And we have IMAX movie theaters.
I think it's dying. And I also think something that's suffering in our society is a place of communion. Community coming together. Now we can find that in little ways. By the way, nobody so generously sent me a gift certificate that they weren't using to an oil painting class.
That's so sweet.
So we find it in those little ways, like hobbies or sports or things that we're interested in, and finding our little nook corner in the world. But I think having communion, not the actual thing, but gathering is so important. And we're kind of losing that with religion. But I think tribalism used to be life and death. Like you had to have something unifying your little village or town or whatever so that you could be on the same page when people came to kill you.
And a set of rules, sort of.
Yes.
That because I think, and I'm probably talking out of my ass now.
Well, we both are.
But
Let's make that perfectly clear.
That religious rules probably predate like the idea of rules, laws that we think of them now, of like there's laws in Los Angeles. You know what I mean?
Right.
I bet like historically, religion played a much bigger role in that than the mayor, if you will.
Oh,
or the town shire.
I mean, it used to be like, and I think, again, also talking out of my ass, but like monarchies of yore. The cardinal or the archbishop or whatever the head priest person was there would have almost as much power, would be like the second most powerful person next to the king. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a lot of power.
It does make you think of...
a lot of money.
It does make you think of, you know, if we're talking, being serious about why religions aren't as popular, you know, I'm saying the contraception. When I say IMAX...
I don't understand the contraception thing.
Because people know it's bullshit.
Okay.
You're not going to hell, probably. That was an excuse to get people not to have sex. Now I don't have to believe that. I just need to put a condom on.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking on that regard. But like when I say IMAX theater, there's cooler places to go than the church. The church used to be the coolest fucking place in your town to go. But now you got movie theaters, you got cool museums, you have all these sporting events. Sure, there were like the big things in Greece, like they were into sports back in the day, right? Arenas and stuff. Yeah, going to a Lakers game and being with all those fans that all share in this one thing.
Yes, it's magical.
That's maybe more fun than going to church these days, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I do love a mass. I know I always say this.
I always fall asleep. I find them very boring.
Well, I understand that, and I wouldn't want to go every weekend for sure, but I feel like in the next 5 years, I would like to go to a Catholic Christmas mass. What? I just like in the next 5. Like you're just like the least religious person ever. Like sometime in the next 5 years, in the next 2,000 days, maybe I'll go to a mass. Yeah. I love the smell of...
I don't like the smell.
Oh.
I was wondering about the smell. Why is there such a smell?
It's either like frankincense or myrrh.
What's myrrh? Mirth and myrrh?
Oh, maybe it's mirth. Whatever. It's some sort of something that they burn in this thing and they swing around and the smoke comes out and it smells like you are in touch with years, like thousands of years ago.
You know, my mom was so into holy water like back in the day. And so we would just like steal it from lots of churches, which I think is fine. But, you know, you can get little plastic bottles that have like a cross on them.
I don't know that that's fine.
Well, they sell the bottles.
Oh, if they're selling that, then yeah, sure.
But I don't know if every church is like, if you have the bottle before you come to the church. But I think like she would like dunk it in the bottle.
And then what would she do with it?
Then you just have the holy water. You might sprinkle it on you every once in a while.
Yeah, that's great.
She would throw it on me sometimes.
Do you know that I have a rosary that the Pope blessed?
I've heard that.
I still have it.
You really think he did? Do you think it was like there was a shipping container in front of him and he was like, I'm going to bless everything in that shipping container?
Possibly, but this was given to me by my ex-boyfriend's mother. And
I don't think she would have given it to you if she knew what you guys had been up to.
Okay. But she didn't even like me that much. This was like when we were breaking up, I think, officially.
She wanted to see if it would burn when you put it around your neck.
You don't wear them around your neck.
You can't? What's the point of them? I thought they were necklaces.
Well, the point of them is each bead represents a prayer that you say in a certain order. And
there's a lot of beads.
Yes, it's like a meditation. This is going to blow your mind, but when I was about, I want to say 13, 14, during my very intense religious phase. And I think this was brought about, I had a kind of extreme Sunday school teacher who was like into the like playing the Hotel California backwards and listening for satanic messages.
Was it a man or a woman?
A man.
Hot? Like, were you into
I have
this
no
man?
idea. No.
No.
No. I mean, I contemplated wanting to be a nun. This is when I wrote a report on the miracles of Medjugorje that I turned in for my school that's not religious in the least.
You would be a great nun.
Thank you.
Serious.
I think I'm too perverted.
They're probably all pretty perverted. As long as you didn't act on it, you'd be great.
Thank
Because you have all the other qualities.
So, but I would do the whole...
Sorry to interrupt. That being said, if you did act on it with somebody like me, amazing.
Oh, we should role play that.
Oh,
My
okay.
son.
No.
No, not
Hold
son.
on.
Sorry.
God,
but that's
we're
what
on
they
different
say.
Oh, okay, great. I'm just
That's like what a priest would say. I don't know if a nun would.
Okay.
Daddy.
Father.
Father.
But that would be if I was pretending to be a priest.
No.
Oh, that's a fun one, though.
That is a fun one. I would do the whole rosary almost nightly. There was a stretch of my life where I would spend hours praying. And I have this prayer book. I still have it. We just did our garage sale. And I was like, it's so worn. And you can see the pages. I'll show it to you. It's crazy looking back on that. And I still, looking at the prayers, I'm like, oh yeah, because I was like chanting them.
So you have to flip the pages, but then also
I
touch the bead with the page?
I had them memorized and stuff. Well, the beads are
That's a
like
lot of beads.
Hail Marys, Our Father is kind of your standard.
Is it all the beads or like just a stretch of the beads in one part?
It's all the beads. If you're going to do the full rosary, it takes a while. And then things just really went off the rails for me.
Little heathen. Is that right? A heathen? Oh,
Yes.
Perverted heathen.
I don't think I'm actually perverted. I just think I'm too much of a sexual being to be a nun. And I think, for that matter, almost all people are too much of sexual beings to be nuns or priests.
What empirical proof do we have of that?
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Jeez.
Can we talk about, this is all, very philosophical, but the simple joys of daily life.
We're so stupid. I bet I would love to see the thrashing we could get by like anyone that's probably taken like philosophy 101 of the last 30 minutes of our conversation.
Well, what fun for them.
Yeah. God, look at you. Look at you. Wow.
You and I really, I think, lean into that to the degree that I feel like I could go into any not fun, like any situation where I know it's not going to be fun, unless it's really serious. Like if I were going to, a scary doctor's appointment or something like that. But any social situation where the worse it is in some ways, the more fun we'll have. And I have my friends.
If we're together.
If we're together.
Oh, yeah.
My friends can be like that too. Or honestly, I will get excited to be like, I can't wait to tell Andy about this.
Well, yeah, that's true. But sometimes it's hard going by yourself when you know only one person. I've had a few of these recently and I thrived. But it can be daunting because like if you don't connect with anyone there, because you don't want to leech onto the one person sometimes,
I don't have a problem in this arena.
Yeah, you're good at it.
But I totally get that. And I think for a lot of people, that's the case. And I'm not trying to be immodest or anything.
Look at you. Yeah.
But no, you and I, we cannot go into details, but we had a social situation recently where someone was so unbelievably rude to us.
Oh my
and it was
fucking God.
Shocking. It was literally shocking. And the way you handled it in such a like effusively kind, but I knew what you were doing, but no one else would be able to. Everyone else would be like, Andy's a king of men. I couldn't wait to talk about it with you later. And it made this unbelievably rude experience, made this whole thing so much more fun for us.
Well, this is crazy, and I don't actually know the answer. Maybe we can figure it out together. Had we not been together And either of us had experienced that social interaction, which truly is all we can say. Just someone being rude.
Yes.
I'm not sure if it was because you were there, but my reaction to it literally was delight, because I instantly knew, like, oh my God, this is so ridiculous. This is happening. It was instantly funny to me. And I was not offended at all or anything.
Oh my God. I was like, I couldn't even speak. I hate that we can't share what
I know.
it is.
It's probably super annoying. But just like a social encounter of someone being rude, I would say. And I mean, so what you saw with how I reacted, I wasn't like, I don't even know if you'd say I was killing with kindness. But I had a vibe of like, not how you thought I would react.
I feel like 99.99% of people would react with like
just like
a negative,
put off.
Negative, defensive, angry, like you name it. You did react with delight.
I just thought it was so fucking funny when I see people, and maybe I should really try to embrace this moving forward.
Yeah.
Because here's the other thing, and this wasn't what I did. There is also a version when people are really rude, when you kind of laugh in their face, that can be humiliating for them, which is not what I did.
You played it so, you know what? Your reaction completely de-escalated the whole situation, which is like the ideal thing.
Yeah.
But I knew what was behind your reaction.
I couldn't wait to talk to you about it.
And no one else really did. But anyway.
Yeah.
I don't even know how I got there. What I wanted to talk about was life's little pleasures and joys. And I guess that's one of them.
That's a weird one.
Being able to enjoy, like, find people, whether it's a partner or friends or whatever, when you're out in the world, being able to, and you do this better than me, but like, find enjoyment in kind of these potentially very uncomfortable situations, even laughing at yourself. Like, I love coming back and telling you some stupid thing I did in like a self-deprecating situation, because it makes life more enjoyable. Another thing that makes life more enjoyable. You fixed our back door.
Oh, hells yeah.
Oh my God. So we have a back door and it had been scraping against the ground for years and years.
Yeah.
And over time, it scraped more and more, and it was to the degree that the kids almost couldn't open and close this door.
That was really bad. It was
You had to pull so hard. Now knowing the fix and how easy it was, it's one of those things, and you and I just really had to look at it, and I actually am the one who figured out what needed to happen.
You figured out the big part of the puzzle. You know, I don't want you to discount you saying it was an easy fix. The reinforcing I did on those other hinges that's not like an easy fix.
Sure, but
and that needed to be done.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
It really did.
Okay. I'm not laughing that I don't.
It really did. You know, I will give you all of the credit for you had the idea for the thing that changed the entire game.
Yes, because you did a first fix that needed to happen, but it wasn't fixed. Like the issue at hand.
No. The job wasn't done. No.
And so I looked at it. You know, my dad was a brilliant engineer. Mm-hmm. I looked at it with an engineer's mind, and I thought, what is really going on here? And I realized that the fix was there needed to be more door added into the bottom hinge, because it was tilting as though there was a. Long story short, there are things for this. There are little plastic shimmies that you put into the hinge.
Yep.
And it worked a charm. And
guess how much those cost at Home Depot for a pack of 3?
$5.
$1.50.
Nice. Wow. See, that's so great.
Yeah, there was a thing out there for $1.50
that
to solve our problem.
For that.
Yep.
And when I tell you, it brings a little moment of joy every time I open or close it now. Mm-hmm. And I know that will fade over time because you get used to it.
Yeah.
And I also appreciate that I wouldn't have this level of joy had I not suffered.
For 5 years.
For 5 years.
But that's the thing. That's what you have to remember about the valleys. I keep saying peaks and valleys so much in my life lately because BDT says that, and it's really rubbed off on me. Peaks and valleys. There's peaks and valleys.
Yes. And for anyone who doesn't know who BDT is,
That's Big Dick Travis.
Big Dick Travis, who's Andy's dear, dear friend, and he was his college and roommate in New York when we started dating.
Yeah, bestie.
And we love him very much, a bestie, and he has a big dick. So that's been confirmed.
Shout out to the person that sent us someone sent us a photo of some graffiti that said BDT gang or something. Crew.
BDT crew.
Yeah, that was
awesome.
Just know that got into BDT's hands.
Yeah. So anyway, where are we going? Oh, the door. Our daughter said, "This feels luxurious."
Yeah.
When she opened it.
Yep.
That is the perfect word. It's one of those things that was like a little tiny annoyance that you don't even realize how the level of gratitude I have.
This is just a gratitude thing you're talking about.
Yes.
Because you couldn't be gracious. Wait, what would the word be? You couldn't have gratitude for that door, for a door, until you had a door that sucked.
Yeah. And so
Right?
try to look at life through the lens of that. What could suck so much more?
Or maybe it's as simple as now, maybe the next time you open a door, think that there's other people out there like us that had a shitty door that was harder to open and pushed on the floor and was embarrassing when you had company over because people were like, why don't they fix their door?
Right.
We went through 5 years of that.
And $1.50. The struggle is real. Oh my God.
Jesus Christ. If we took a step even further and remember all the like bad stuff, real bad stuff that we're not going through that other people are, there's a big lesson in that too.
Well, I mean,
Maybe a bigger lesson.
I think I can speak to that a little bit. But yes, of course, people are suffering all over the world and you should feel grateful. But it's hard to contextualize that. It's like so big to take on.
That's true.
And even in my own life, you know, I think I went through a really dark period after my parents died in 1 year when I was just becoming a fully formed person. And really hard. And I felt like, am I ever going to have anyone in my life? They were, at the time, the two most important people in my life.
Yep.
And then along with my sister was starting she already had found her person.
Yeah.
Shout out Brian.
Shout out.
So a lonely that I can't, and a desperate lonely, you know, it's no wonder that I like moved in with the first guy who even showed me an ounce of attention. And that was ultimately, you know, something I learned through. I don't want to say a mistake, but I was not with the right person for me, and I was trying to convince myself that I was.
But had you not met that wonderful human, you wouldn't be as grateful for me.
That's right. That is right. And so I am constantly so blown away by how lucky I am to have you and our kids. I got the three best people. We have so much fun. I love hanging out with our kids so much.
I know. This is like a especially fun age too.
It's so
great.
Great. In fact, I do think it's been in the last maybe 2 years where, and everyone knows I love my kids more than anything, and I have delighted in them from day one.
Yeah.
But I don't think, like, if I lived in the 1950s and had to be a stay-at-home mom and housemaker and stuff, I would probably have been pretty unhappy. That's just like balance in my life looks like a little different. And I think that up until a couple of years ago, like if someone were like, do you want to come out to dinner with friends? And I could make it happen because you were home or whatever.
Yeah.
I would always be like, yes.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, I want to hang out with my kids.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
I think we're in a short window though.
Before they don't want to hang out with us.
Well, yeah. But then it'll shift again, hopefully. Hopefully we have adult
hopefully
kids that want to hang out with us.
That's the goal, right?
That is the goal.
And our relationships with them will need to keep evolving. I think that sometimes parents get stuck. And also, I obviously didn't have this, so can't speak to it on a personal level. But like, for my friends, I think sometimes parents get stuck where they continue to treat their adult children like the relationship doesn't change for the parents. where it's still treating them like they are children versus letting it evolve to a different kind of status.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm really desperate to, and I don't think desperation helps in this situation, but all
you gotta be cool.
Yeah, you gotta be cool. But all I want is for them to want to like come hang out with us and bring their friends, bring their partner, whoever. Like they're like, ooh, having arguments because the partner is like, we have to go spend it with my family. And our kid's like, but don't you want to be with my family? And they're like, yeah, obviously.
Oh, wow. I'm like seeing you having a hard time with like the first Christmas that's like, we're going to so-and-so's place instead.
And I'll be like, what time should we be there?
Maybe not.
Don't you think we would welcome the partner's family?
Depends.
It does depend.
We don't know yet.
We don't know.
We really don't know.
Well, we just need to cultivate in a cool way to them, but behind closed doors, make this a priority.
Mm-hmm.
It's, a relationship, a situation where they look forward to being with us and they're not leaving at the end going, oh my God, not that that's, I think that I've heard from friends and stuff, sometimes that can be the case.
Just gotta be cool.
Gotta be cool.
Don't be so needy.
Not needy, I also want to make it very comfortable for them, like lots of food around and
easy breezy.
Easy breezy. Own spaces, places to get away.
Yeah.
Lots of hands-on grandparenting should they choose to have kids.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great.
Great.
Okay, we figured it all out this episode. We figured it out. Life.
I think so.
Don't get on any segways.
That's inappropriate. Good
Good
night.
night.